Good afternoon, T.G.I.F with InAlign Partners. It is Friday afternoon. This is Stacy Emmert.
And Rich Viola.
And we are here, for those of you who know us, we do this vlog every Friday. And for those of you who are just joining us, thank you. And we hope that you will stick around for our topics that focus on business strategy, leadership, and individual development.
A lot of people talk about or ask us how we do what we do, and it's really our approach, and it involves a lot of straight talk.
A sense of urgency.
We tap into your talents.
And like you, we love what we do.
And when we partner, typically you achieve. And so this week's topic is accountability. To have or have not.
And if you have it, please join us. And if you don't, you could pretty much probably sign off right now.
So,
but cheers.
Cheers. So, back to the topic at hand. So, if you are looking for accountability or have it or have some portion of it throughout your organization, you know how critical it is to be successful. And so we'd like to kind of get into a conversation around who owns it, who models it, what does it mean, and what good happens when you have a high degree of accountability across the organization. And so I guess first, who do you think owns it?
Well, everybody owns it,
Yeah.
quite frankly. But I do think it starts with leadership and kind of setting the strategy, and then kind of the accountability rolls on from the strategy.
Yeah, so if we kind of look at, and you're alluding to what does it mean? What's accountability mean to us and to anybody? And this is clearly our opinion here, but it's all about being able to communicate the vision, objectives, roles, and expectations, and then following through on that, right? And so whether or not you're the CEO or in the C-suite or mid-level or staff, if you have a particular role and you have things that you're supposed to do day in and day out for the betterment of the organization, your team, and your customers, you've got to deliver on those commitments. And when you're not delivering on those commitments, therein lies a lack of accountability. And if you're not managing that performance, managing those disconnects, that's a big shame on everybody, right?
Yeah, and it also, it creates an environment of he did it, she did it, finger pointing, complacency. You walk in every day, it's the same thing, nothing ever gets done, but it's never my fault that nothing gets done. It's everything else or everyone else.
So again, that's deflecting accountability, deflecting responsibility. And so I would agree, everybody owns it. So, we've all worked in organizations, or we've had clients, frankly, who do a better job at it than others. But when you don't have accountability, true accountability or shared accountability for that common vision, objectives, what does it look and sound and feel like? Well, there's typically a lack of leadership, a lack of communication. Clearly, no one's really managing performance. You typically see high turnover, low engagement, and really poor relationships. And typically those businesses don't last long, or they are struggling and constantly struggling. The teams that we've worked with, the clients we've work with that cultivate that, hire for that, screen for that, and then develop that within their people, it's really phenomenal. You can feel it when you walk in. When somebody says something to you and says, I'll get that to you, or you can count on it, you can take it to the bank. And so when you have a high degree of accountability, you do have higher level of leadership, much better productive relationships. There's a higher level of trust, higher engagement, and higher performance. And you typically see that on every level.
Everybody is part of the solution and the outcome. And, when there is lack of accountability, it just is, it's a draining experience for everyone. I mean, it just, it creates I mean, it can go south fast, but because you're not paying attention to it, you're there before you know it, and sometimes it's just a little too late to fix it, and then you have to go into complete turnaround, which is a lot of stress on people, and it means that there's a lot of collateral damage, and a lot of times good people leave because people need accountability, believe it or not. They like to know what they're accountable for. They like to know that they can count on people, and people really do look to their leadership as the model for it. Even though I think sometimes we find leaders that kind of downplay their, well, you know, I'm just this, or I'm not really. You know, people look up to you, and you have a responsibility, and if it's to set that accountability, lead it and model it, then you probably should be doing that.
Yeah, so I would agree. It starts with the leadership.
Yeah.
The leaders are the ones that should model it. They set the tone for the culture. You either have it or you don't. If you're struggling with that, either individually with your teams or within your company, and you feel like you need some help, by all means reach out. If you've got a positive experience around accountability, please share that with us, or other future topics. Would love to hear from you. But cheers.
T.G.I.F.